Small, mighty, and smelling like the holidays, but what can cloves actually do? Today, we test the science, the folklore, and the safety. Stick around. We've got a clove tea recipe, real human trials, and the one safety tip most people miss. We're going to separate the solid, evidence-backed facts from the hopeful but unproven myths. So, let's get right down to it. What is this little spiky thing we call a clove? A clove is actually the unopened, dried flower bud of a tree, native to the Maluku Islands in Indonesia, once famously known as the Spice Islands. The star of the show is a molecule called eugenol. It's the primary source of that iconic aroma and the driving force behind many of the health effects we're going to explore. This compound gives cloves their signature warm, sweet, and slightly astringent flavor. You've probably sprinkled its ground-up form into a pumpkin pie or studded a holiday ham with its whole spiky body. But here's a pro tip most people miss. Whole cloves keep their flavor and potency far longer than ground. The tough exterior acts as a natural protective barrier, keeping all those fragrant oils locked safely inside. Stored properly in an airtight container, whole cloves can last for years, while ground cloves start losing their magic within months. For centuries, one of the most enduring traditions is the post-meal clove tea, seen as a gentle way to settle the stomach. In many cultures, particularly in India and across Southeast Asia, sipping on a warm, fragrant brew infused with a few whole cloves after a heavy meal is a time-honored ritual. So, what does the science actually say? The modern hypothesis is that compounds in cloves may help stimulate digestive enzymes and have a carminative effect, helping to reduce gas. Most evidence is preclinical from lab and animal studies. However, there are small human pilot trials suggesting effects. One open-label pilot study found a clove extract lowered pre- and post-meal glucose in 24 volunteers. While this is about blood sugar, it's directly connected to how our body processes a meal, lending some scientific weight to the traditional digestive claims. Curious to try it? Making clove tea is incredibly simple. Simply pour 1 cup of boiling water over 1 to 3 whole cloves. Let it steep for 5 to 8 minutes. You can add a squeeze of lemon or a drizzle of honey if you like. But remember to start small with just 1 or 2 cloves. And a crucial safety warning, this is for whole cloves only. Never ingest concentrated clove oil. So, what's the verdict? A simple clove tea may help with mild digestive discomfort after a meal, but it is not a replacement for medical care. If you have persistent digestive issues, your first call should always be to your doctor. Now it's time to put on our lab coats and look at the human clinical trials. This is where we move beyond folklore and into the world of hard data. We need to call out limitations clearly. Most of the evidence we have is promising but preliminary, putting it firmly in the yellow light zone. First, that blood sugar study by Mohan and colleagues. A polyphenol-rich clove extract was associated with lower glucose levels in a small group of volunteers. What does it mean? It's a promising signal, but it's a small pilot study, not a large-scale confirmation. Next, several small randomized trials on a branded extract called clovenol have shown antioxidant and liver protective signals. One even looked at hangovers. But these studies use a specific, concentrated, branded extract. The results may not generalize to simply drinking clove tea. Here's a big win for cloves. A clinical trial found a clove-based gel was as effective as the standard pharmaceutical, 20% benzocaine, for numbing gums before a dental injection. This is the strongest evidence we have, supporting the topical numbing properties of clove's main compound, eugenol. And building on that, a recent randomized trial found that adding clove oil to lidocaine reduced pain significantly in the first 6 hours after an episiotomy repair. This suggests clove oil is a promising helper for topical pain relief in clinical settings, but again, the study was small and needs to be replicated. If you want to dive into the research yourself, we've linked the papers in the description below. Now we venture into one of the most sensational topics, cloves and reproductive health. Let's start with men. The claims are fueled almost entirely by animal studies. Some research on rodents has reported improved sperm motility and testosterone levels with clove extract. But, and this is critical, there is very limited human data. A mouse is not a man, and these results cannot be applied to people. We also have to be cautious, as effects can vary wildly by the dose and the type of extract used. When we turn to women's health, the picture is even more complex. Animal studies are mixed. Some combination formulas with clove showed improved outcomes in aged animal models, but other studies are inconclusive. The human evidence is completely insufficient. We simply don't know how it affects the intricate dance of female hormones. Therefore, it is crucial to emphasize, Do not use clove oil or high-dose extracts if you are trying to conceive, are pregnant, or breastfeeding without guidance from your clinician. So what's the practical takeaway? Culinary amounts of cloves are likely safe and add wonderful flavor, but therapeutic doses for fertility are completely untested and not recommended. If you have any questions, the only safe path is to check with your OB/GYN or a reproductive specialist. Now for the most important part of our journey: safety, interactions, and red flags. First, bleeding risk. Eugenol can affect blood platelets, so you must be cautious if you take anticoagulants like warfarin or aspirin. Second, and this is critical, do not ingest clove oil. There are documented cases of severe liver injury from overdoses of concentrated clove oil. Third, kids and infants. Clove oil can be especially dangerous for children. Avoid all internal use. And as we've covered, avoid medicinal doses during pregnancy and breastfeeding. Culinary use in moderation is generally considered okay. When in doubt, always call your doctor. The safest way to enjoy cloves is how they've been used for centuries, as a whole spice in your food and drinks. Alright, after all that serious talk, let's have some fun with some practical kitchen hacks. Got old cloves? Wake them up by toasting them in a dry pan for 20 seconds until they're fragrant. Out of cloves? Substitute with allspice or a mix of nutmeg and cinnamon. And remember to store them in an airtight container in a cool, dark place to keep them fresh for years. Want a quick tea remix? Try 2 cloves with a slice of ginger and a squeeze of lemon for an invigorating brew. So let's recap with our final evidence scorecard. For culinary use and topical pain relief, a solid green light; for mild digestive support, a promising yellow light; for reproductive benefits, a yellow-red light, the evidence just isn't there; and for claims of curing serious diseases, that's a hard red light. Our recommended approach: enjoy cloves as a delicious spice and an occasional tea. Don't substitute them for medical therapy. Always consult your provider if you're on medication or pregnant, and absolutely avoid ingesting clove oil. If you learned one thing, it's that cloves are powerful, but not magical. Try the tea, but check with your doc if you're on meds. Want a printable cheat sheet and the links to all the papers we discussed? Click the link in the description. See you next time, and spice safely.